Task 3. Now we're going to make a little bubble float up from our fish. So it wants us to create a new sprite called bubble. It recommends us just creating a little white circle. And then it wants us to copy this code here. So that's what I'm going to do now. First of all then, I need to create a new sprite. Now I'm going to draw this one. So I'm going to use the paint facility. And I'm going to use circle. And it's going to be a white circle with a black outline, a thin black outline. I'm going to draw the circle in the center, it's like so, making sure that it is as central as I possibly can get. Now, it's called it Sprite 1. Procoder Rule 1 states that our sprites should be called something appropriate. Now, this is a bubble, so I'm going to call it bubble. Procoder rules, remember, make our code more readable and maintainable, and you'll realize this as we go on. Okay, so that's our bubble sprite. Then I'm going to click on code to write the actual code. Now the first thing first is it wants us to say when I start as a clone. Now you might think it's under events, but it's not. It's under control. And if we go to the bottom here, it says, there it is, when I start as a clone. A clone, just like in Star Wars, is a copy. So we're creating a template of a bubble, and then we can call this and create more clones of it so that we have multiple bubbles coming up following the same code. Right, so when I start as a clone, it wants to show. So it's hidden to start with. So it shows itself. Then we want it to go to the actual fish. Wherever the fish is, we want it to go to the fish. Now this is an excellent example of why we should name our sprites appropriately. If we had lots of sprites called sprite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this would make this almost impossible, but we called it fish, so we know what it means. Then it says change x by 80. So this is because we want the bubble to start by the fish's mouth. So I'm just going to bear with me for a moment, just copy the code, and then I'll explain once it's written. So change x by 80, change y by 10, wait half a second, change y by 10. If you're unfamiliar with the Cartesian axis, our game area is broken up into x and y. Y goes up and down, x goes left and right, and the center is 0, 0, x, y. We want our bubble to go upwards from our fish, so we're actually increasing the y coordinate of the bubble. Okay, so that's what this is all about. Then it wants us to do this several times. And then at the bottom, it wants to wait half a second before destroying itself, deleting itself. Delete this clone. So when we create the clone, it shows itself, goes to the fish, goes to the fish's mouth, goes up by 10, waits, up by 10, waits, up by 10, waits, up by 10, waits, and then deletes itself. Okay. You might notice that we have repeating instructions here. Now remember, in Procoder Rule 2 states that we should convert repeated instructions into a loop. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take away these redundant instructions, and I'm going to add a loop here. Now they repeated themselves 1, 2, 3 times. So I'll write 3 there before adding delete this clone at the bottom. Task 3 completed.